Well, what's going on, guys? It's about 3:33 in the afternoon for a Thursday, the 14th of August, 2025. And yeah, welcome to summertime and the warm ones. We were John C. of Roseman, California. What's going on? All right, guys. Came across an article on YouTube about. Actually, I think Fox News was promoting this crap. That they want discipline in schools. Okay, how are we doing it? And why are we doing it? Well, because the kids need to learn discipline, and they want it to end up like what we have right now, ruffians and stuff like that. Yeah, right. Coming from a football player who thinks kids should be beaten to death, or nearly. He may have had different experiences regarding it because he's a big, buff football player who did his time in the NFL. I don't give a shit about that. This kind of behavior usually brings out the worst in kids. There had to be studies, complaints, things out there to study that beating up a kid while he's going through school is not the answer of getting discipline down his throat or her throat. If some of the older folks have been through the damn shit, they will tell you a bit differently. I can. I'll tell you differently about it. I knew people going through high school, actually going through the K through 12 before me, having issues even down the road with their own behaviors. Sometimes they agreed with the punishment, but from who doing it? The school punishing the kids for what? Well, you got into a fight. Okay, school has fights. No, no, there has to be discipline. There has to be strict adherence. There has to be rules, regulations. Yeah, and they also have to learn it at home as well. Because if they don't learn it they don't learn it down life unless life kicks the shit out of them. But try this one. Yeah, there used to be corporal punishment a long time ago, even before I got into school, before I got into the K through 12 system. That if you did something wrong, it was automatic carte blanche that school had authority to kick the crap out of your kids. Wiffle bat. Looks like a table tennis bat. Actually, table tennis paddle with holes cut in it, little round holes. And this would allow a better swish. Little aerodynamics lesson on this one I learned the hard way. You happen to swing a solid object. You know how much air resistance is. It builds up on the side that you're just swishing. A lot of resistance from the air and the drag on the opposite end of it. But if you had holes cut in the damn thing, or like in my hand, if I have this, I allow better air coverage going through it because this can go whoosh through the air. But if I do it this way, I got a lot of resistance, right? Okay, so imagine you have a tabletop paddle cut with holes. A lot of air goes through it. Better swoosh through the air. Except its final point of destination is on human skin. And a lot of force hits the human skin. Especially when you're using it and you're going. And the human skin is a youngster. There had been reports a long time ago from parents complaining to the schools that they had unusual marks on them. Why did my child got punished this way? Because your child had this, and here comes the list of reasons. Because of this and that and a consistent and down the road. Some of the parents are like, oh, well, he has been a little bit unruly at home. Well, maybe you should beat your kid at home too. I don't like beating up my child. I keep trying to tell him to stop, but he doesn't want to stop. And the problem is, when you're telling the kid to stop, he's not going to stop. Maybe there wasn't enough enforcement at home, or maybe what some people thought would be cowardice and timidity and being too genteel on the children because we didn't want to hurt them, but we wanted to make them understand. So the logic is, in order to make them understand, they must be hurt all the time. So they get toughened up. They got to get toughened up and toughened up and toughened up and toughened up. Try this for adulthood. How many times can you whack an employee to make sure that they're going to be doing their job right? Do you have a boss out there that does that to their people? I mean, I know we got the standard laws all over the damn place, federal and state and local laws, but centuries ago, when you got shanghaied, you got turned into a chain gang, you got brought up on a ship, and the ship has rules. You break the rules, they flog you. Cat o' nine tails. Those damn things hurt like hell, and also they would tear skin. They would literally tear skin, and they would have to be, dealt with. Much the same on land. That in order to get discipline in your youngsters, or even adults, you had to beat the crap out of them. Consistently beat the crap out of them because they have to learn. They have to learn that either they obey or else. The whip of a tyrant. In the Navy, they had to be brutal because they had to get discipline out of these guys because the governments were throwing people into a fight, either on land or by sea. They had to maintain strict discipline, right? I had never served the military. I have never been in the military. I am medically 4F, even at the age of 60. So when I came out of my mother's womb, I had to have open heart surgery at the age of 4 years old, which nullified me from having military service ever. Doctors weren't going to put me out there anyway. Besides, would Johnny won't deal with a disciplinary government system that wants to beat the shit out of you people just to make sure that you're quote-unquote toughened up? But who am I to say that beating the crap out of people is the right way of doing it? Well, what I understood, the military was very tough on physical training. And when it came down for discipline, they'd throw in more and more of it. Now, back in the schools when I was growing up, K through 12, it was suspension, expulsion, at least write standards on the damn blackboard. When you're in elementary school, K through 12, it's one thing doing blackboard all the time. But when it came down for junior high through senior high, there was only study halls that you had to spend about an hour after school, and you had to stay there. It was the least way they could try to enforce discipline, but sometimes did it work or didn't it work? My mother wants to come over here. She's banging it. Yeah. Give me a second, guys. This is my child. She's 70 years old. Actually, let me correct that. She's 20 years old, human age. Dog age, about 140, since they talk about 1-to-7 ratio at this point over here. I get this stuff out of here. So, they're like kids, and we have to treat them as such. And sometimes, there is a little bit of discipline here and there. It's kind of hard to train a dog when they're a little bit out of control. You talk to psychologists who deal with animals. They have these whisperers out there. They'll try to guide you in the behavior of the animal they have to see the environment, they have to see what they're going through, everything, to make their own judgmental point of view on how to deal with things. We didn't have it. I got her when she was about 1 and a half. She already had problems concerning about people and kids that she couldn't deal with the kids. She didn't argue and spat, but she ran away. But even teenagers, she's got a problem with. Adults, she's got no problems with. We try to behave ourselves, and she'll get mischievous when she was a lot younger. I mean, she had gotten it that way. But when she gets older, she's getting more fussier. She's blind. She's deaf. She she manages to get around as much, and she'll fuss in the middle of the night. And I have to be creative sometimes by not harming the dog as much. I don't leave a mark. I just remind her I'm in charge over her, and she doesn't need to play at night, especially when you're doing it at 12 or 1 o'clock in the morning, and I don't want her to play. I want her to sleep. During the daytime is when I want her to run around, but sometimes she doesn't. So I have to manage around with her schedule. And you're going to be asking me, how does this relate with a human being? Human being's not a dog. Well, in a way it is. In a way we are. She's an old fussy lady, and I have to deal with old fussy broads. And yes, I used the B word on that one. Well, I could have used the other B word on this one. Guess she was. A long time ago. Before we got her. She got nailed by a beagle. Had a kid. Got her when she was pregnant. Didn't even realize until she had a child. But we didn't punish her. We celebrated both of them. So, she may be a spoiled brat. I'll keep calling her that. She knows it. She knows it. But I still have to find ways of dealing with her one way or another without hurting her. And this is an old lady. Still a kid and an old lady at the same time. It just works out that way. But we are dealing with a kid of a human being. Now back, as I said before, when I was going through school, K through 12. Yes, they had it before I was there, but they phased it out years before. And one student over there had a parent made a difference with the principal. This particular student was seen fighting with another student or going to get into a fight with another student. And the principal of this one school was a disciplinarian. He had his special paddle. And he told kids to drop them, and then he would administer the discipline. He was very much into beating up kids. So much on that one that I couldn't deal with it. I heard the stories. Didn't think they were true. But I heard one day that the principal had one particular student who fought back. Had his parent listen. And the parent was in an argument with the principal, and the principal was going to deliver that blow, and the blow paddle snapped. It was a blocking move, and the paddle snapped in half. And my brother was told to go home. Cops would be there after he opened up the front door. And he had a phone in his hand and says, "Phone's for you." So the parent would be dealing with the law enforcement at that time. But on the principal's desk was the stuff coming down from the state of California telling all districts, all teachers, everybody, corporal punishment no more. Now, granted, sometimes it is a discipline, but it should be used as the last resort. If you keep beating up a kid, or you keep beating up an adult, there's going to be repercussions on this one. But it depends upon if the message is getting across, this is, yes, I know this is for the own good, but the military has to use their own way to weed out those who are not going to be able to serve in the military in whatever form or function. I understand that. Boot camp is, and actually recruit training is hard. It's supposed to be hard. It's supposed to be tearing them down physically and emotionally, psychologically. But in it, they're supposed to understand that they're supposed to be coming into something greater than themselves, something that they can achieve if they were willing to put up with a hell of a lot more. There had been, as I was hearing other stories growing up, other disciplines happening within the Navy that called hazing, and it was outlawed, but it was still underground. But sailors were still getting their ass in trouble with the higher ups, usually starting out division areas. Somebody had to haze a rookie, and some of the hazing was pretty treacherous. But if they could stand it, then they could be part of the gang. Yeah. There had been stories about remembering that one there. But how do we do it today? It was one thing back then because we didn't have the technology. We didn't have the cell phones. We didn't have the internet. We didn't have the social gossip. No, the only social gossip is when you had your cliques, your friends, groups of them, would travel from place to place to place. Maybe they were disciplined and maybe they weren't. The cops had to take them home. At one point, the cops would have to take you over to the police station where the parents would have to break them up and take them home. And it would be up to the parents to decide what punishment they're going to get. And if they really ticked off the school system, they'd get kicked out of it, either from the school or by the district. There were stories about that one or two when I was growing up. So how do you discipline a kid? How do you discipline them to make them feel like they still need to be part of instead of being against? That's one of the hardest damn things, and yet throughout human history, throughout human ages that we've lived and shared stories and shared histories with, they believed in corporal punishment back then. They believed in beating the crap out of a person so badly that either they learned how to have the character or the strength to go forward, or they didn't. But if they had the strength going forward, are they going to be rebelling or not? Physical training, I can understand, putting them through the rigmaroles like push-ups or chin-ups or whatever kind of that they would have to put them through. But if they were willing to be part of the system, part of whatever they were trying to be part of, they would have to deal with it. It's not the same when it comes down for K through 12. Standards I knew was the toughest damn thing I would have to do because my hand was always having problems when I came home. If I was having problems with a teacher, guess what? I'd stay home. Actually, I'd stay about an hour writing standards. I will not, I will not, I will not, I will not, I will not. It's either on paper or on the damn class board. And you thought it was a story? Shit. Happened. But was it better than beating the crap out of a kid? Was it better than beating the crap out of a kid and telling him that you're special, I'm going to beat the crap out of you, I'm going to inflict a hell of a lot of pain because I think you can deal with it, I think you can learn discipline, so let me kick the crap out of you. It was bad enough when the parents had to do the same thing at home and get busted for child abuse. Because if they weren't behaving right, they're constantly knocked around. Where do you think we got our bullies from in the first place, guys? What do you think when you were growing up with a bully? You didn't think that these guys were also abused? You thought they were just born mean? Dudes and dudettes and everybody else. You have to be taught to hate, to live in fear. You have to be taught from every day, year to year. I'm doing a song and dance around here. But there's a Rodgers and Hammerstein song about that one. You have to be carefully taught concerning about hate. I know Mandy Patinkin a long time ago had sung this stuff, and it's on there on YouTube, somewhere out there. I know because I came across it every once in a while. Came across it on PBS station while he was doing a concert. Black black outfit, t-shirt, pants, shoes, and he was very exciting, very energetic, singing the song out. And then after that, uh, children are wishes. Right after the hate thing, and then children are wishes. It was something that stuck with me for a long while. We deal with a technological savvy generation here. They see things, they take a camera, they snapshot it, they video it, short videos, clips of it, seeing what's going on these days. They see the world breaking down left and right. And we're going to have a football player out there telling people that we need to discipline our kids by beating the crap out of them, especially in school. That's going to help them? Are you kidding me? Maybe you thought the same damn line was back then, but we're backward ass right now. We got a different generation here, growing up in different times, and it's not the same. Techniques have to be different. Techniques have to be different because the old ways are not going to make it. You're going to beat the shit out of the kid left and right for what? Because he didn't say hi to Mr. and Mrs. Such and Such? Or he probably picked his nose in class, smeared it underneath the table, or under the chair? Yeah, I'd seen a few of those. It was bad enough dealing with one particular teacher who was a sharp-eyed eagle on this one. She didn't have any teaching credentials, but somehow she managed her way into a school district and into a school where I was at. And a kid that doesn't have any tissue paper or anything else to blow his nose out of, can't get outside, and what else is supposed to do with this stuff? Yeah. So I got reported on. I didn't get disciplined by the school. Mom was trying to find out what the hell was going on. Yeah, the nose was itchy, but also I had stuff coming out of it. What was I supposed to do? Stuff it up and eat it? Gross things kids do back then. What I end up doing is spending about a week in detention while they try to manage with the rest of my semester in junior high. And then next semester I had a different teacher altogether. Different class, but same topic. In elementary, we didn't have that kind of disciplinary. We just kicked your ass out or suspended your ass. And if you were really bad, we had continuation school. We shoved you right in there, and you had to deal with them. I'd never been in continuation school. I almost came close to it. And yes, at home, if there was going to be any issues with the family, especially if I happened to piss off Ma, was she going to be staking a belt to me? No. Because something other than physical, it's using psychological traits. She made you feel like you weren't there anymore. She ghosted your ass. He called it the silent treatment. Which meant she was super mad at that point. Could be a day, could be a week, depending on if you actually weren't reconciled. You weren't reconciling with her. You weren't making amends. You weren't telling her, I'm sorry, it won't happen again. And you showed no progress on that one. So yeah, she ghosted your ass. Push you around. You're not there. You're not there. So she will do things to make you feel small. She got my attention. She got my attention. I don't know what it was like for my brother when he was growing up, but for me, that was bad enough. I had a few times when she did paddle my ass. Only 2 or 3 times, that was about it. I remember the time that we had And one of those 3 times, but she did paddle my ass. Where I didn't listen to my mother. I damn near injured me, almost coming close to injured me, or people in a family home that we were at, visiting relatives out of state. And unfortunately, in a particular state where ammunition and guns were out in the open. I was told to keep my mitts to myself. Didn't listen. So I'm using a live round, a rifle round. I don't know what the hell caliber the damn thing was. All I know was a pointy. It was at metal, and I could mark up a wooden hutch, or no, actually a wooden dresser. And then, okay, piece of paper. Okay, we'll mark this thing up. I didn't know it was a marker or not. I didn't know that I was dealing with my life. All I know is it was making, it was doing stuff I wanted to do. Make a drawing. I like to draw when I was a young kid. I was bored. And I did things as a young kid would do. Rifle through stuff. My brother was always constantly chasing me out. He didn't beat the hell out of me. He threatened me a hell of a lot of times. That's an older brother for you. But he didn't do physical damage on me. Until I was old enough to go into his sanctum without him having a conniption fit. Only if he allowed me to. But as a young kid, I didn't know any better shit. So you had to learn. But I was learning that a long rifle bullet was not a marker. And if the firing pin was hit hard and sharp, that would have gone off of my hand. The explosive nature of the round would have burned my hand. And depending on where that damn bullet was pointing, it was going to be dangerous for the family. Ma found out about it. As soon as she saw me, it's like, "Where's Johnny? Where's Johnny?" She goes up to the room I was at, and I'm doodling on a piece of paper. She takes the bullet, rips it out of my damn hand, takes me to the bathroom, takes the belt off of my waist, and hits the crap out of me with it. My butt went bomb. Of course, we unfortunately cut the stay short. She was going to take the family back home, regardless. In those days, people had questioned whether or not certain behaviors were necessary, including beating the shit out of your kids. And Ma was a disciplinarian, so she was going to hit her kids. In time, my brother was at her deathbed. Well before passage. Ma and Dave, they reconciled differences with each other. They reconciled. I wasn't reconciled, but I hold the lessons as an example of things that happen and things that scare the hell out of you. And they had. It scared the hell out of me. Was Ma in the right? The family said, "It's all right, Marianne," but Ma wanted to maintain discipline. She says, "No, it's not all right. We're leaving." Travel to a different state, it takes time. It takes days. And she wasn't going to have any of it. She wasn't going to have an argument with the family. She was going to take her family back home, and she would deal with the problem. And by the time we got back home, I don't remember if we actually got our asses kicked or not, but we already had our asses kicked. And besides, My brother still, he was still a little miffed to his senior days. We talk about losing his Hot Wheel collection. I was a mischievous kid. I was a mischievous kid. I was too damn curious. I got into my stuff. I got into David's stuff because I thought they were interesting. Nobody got into my stuff. God forbid it should get into my stuff. But I get into their stuff. Maybe a bit of kleptomania. But I wasn't stealing stuff from everybody else. No, I was just going into Moss and Dave's stuff. But I didn't get the belt or the paddle for that one. Hand slapped a bit. That's about it. But how do you kind of do that kind of technique in this kind of day and age? With the laws and rules that we have right now as it is. We have the laws and rules to protect kids from getting their ass kicked left and right. At home and abroad. We don't like our seniors getting the shit kicked out of them. We don't want our kids to get shit kicked out of them. But we're supposed to discipline them. But is it necessary to beat the shit out of them in schools? Schools are having a hard time trying to keep the students' attention there. These damn things are either a menace, curse, or a blessing at the same damn time. Smartphones. Throughout the decades, throughout the 20 or 30 years of developing cellular technology to the point we've got it right now, well, this takes over our brains. All the calculations that we need to do for mathematics, we've got it on the phone. Regarding world geography, we got it on the phone. Regarding history lessons, we've got it on the phone. If we want to know something about temperatures or weather, we got it on the phones. We want to see it about the news programs. We want to see current events. We got everything on a damn smartphone. Put in the right app, and that's what we have, technology. But does that take over being disciplined? Kids are tech savvy. They grow up in this kind of stuff. They're learning how to hack into these things, make their own apps. When we had computers coming out, we had these kids learning what programming was all about and being tech wizards, tech geniuses, geeks, nerds, hackers. Laws passed, yelling and screaming and legal forms we've had. Did it change anything? Not really. Nope. It only encouraged more. Even with discussions, forums, kids are going to do what they're going to do. But how do you discipline them? Take a baseball bat and beat the shit out of them in school? Does that help them out? Why did you do this? Well, I was bored. Why were you bored? Because this wasn't interesting. Why wasn't it interesting? Well, I don't know. This stuff is passé. Okay, why is it passé? Do you understand that term? I think so. Okay, if you got a grasp on that, then can you grasp some of this stuff? Well, I don't want to learn it. I just want to do it. So you want to be an operator, but you don't want to learn how to do the intricate, like in program, and how to be creative about it. I just want to do it, man. It's like you're going to be taking a kid to an arcade, seeing all the flash bangs and everything else going on in there, and he's supposed to be a computer nerd. No, he turns out to be a gamer. Liar, cheat, thief, and a gambler. But you're already a liar, cheat, thief, and a gambler before the flashing. You had other games out there. So where's the discipline there? This could be an ongoing discussion on this shit. But we've had this ongoing discussion for decades, for generations. And there's no adequate answer. There's no adequate solution. But beating the shit out of a kid? I like to tell that football player, gee, it really must have been nice to have your ass getting kicked left and right, and you think that was totally acceptable. And now you think everybody else should be totally acceptable. When I'd seen other people that got beat up like crazy, who turned out to be the worst, who learned how to be bullies and became other people's worst nightmare. They didn't learn how to fight back or have discipline. They learned the wrong way from the folks of saying, if you can beat up and encourage fear from others, you got power, you got respect. No, you don't. You got fear coming out of them. It's no wonder some of the bullies want to get shot up or beat up or something like that. Yes, we have laws in different states about how the kids should be handled, but also how other disciplines should be handled with the point of a gun, with the barrel of a gun pointing right at you, or a blade knife. Decades ago, before you pull out a piece, you pulled out a blade. We have never been able to solve it in any other generation. In any previous generations in human history, there's no way to maybe organized trying to teach him discipline and teaching reasons why. Sometimes the parent needs help. Sometimes the school system really needs help. But beating the shit out of kids, put in some physical training and beat the shit out of them that way if you have to. Push-ups, pull-ups, whatever kind of physical activity, make them run. And that was the thing I always used to back then. That was the time I grew up on. I don't know how to deal with the technical, except take the technical away from the kids and let's see how they act and react to it. Each generation has to understand the histories of the previous generations, what worked, what didn't work, and now what they have to cope with and what they have to deal with. Hardest damn thing for us to deal with. That being said, guys,